So ever since Ruben Amorim came into the club, there has been one big criticism thrown at him. Well, there's been a couple actually, but one main one that I want to talk about, and that is the fact that he's too passive. His Manchester United side is too passive off the ball. They don't press enough, they sit too deep. So how come against Arsenal we had more high turnovers than Arsenal did? What's happening there? Well, I'll tell you what's happening there. Manchester United are improving defensively, particularly with the high press, from defensive resets. So what do I mean when I talk about a defensive reset? I am essentially talking about a moment where the ball goes out of play and the team resets. So normally that will be a throw-in or a goal kick. The reason we talk about these as reset opportunities is because neither team has just lost the ball. You haven't got a player tracking back or 20 yards out of space. Both teams are in a fixed shape. And this is where you can learn a lot about a manager, because you see really the manager's true ideas. You can see the exact shape that he's trying to use, both for the team playing out from the goal kick, but also the team pressing. These are real moments where you can learn about the intentions of a manager, I feel. And Manchester United have been good in these positions in the past couple of matches. So we're talking about resets here, and let me just explain this a little bit further. The play, let's say it's an open play, right? The ball's being popped about in the middle of the park. This is open play. In these moments, Eriksen might be caught high, or Dalot might be late getting back. He may have just attacked and has left space, or Bruno Fernandes has gone down with an injury, so he's caught out, or players are out of position. When you talk about a reset, a goal kick moment, this is when both teams have, I don't know, 10 to 12 seconds to get into their desired position, basically, the position they want to be in, to play out from the back, from the opposition point of view, but also to press from the Manchester United point of view. And like I said, this is where you learn a lot about a manager, and what I've learned is that in these moments, Ruben Amorim wants to be aggressive. We have seen man-to-man pressing situations from Manchester United, and the way that we press depends on what shape the opposition are using, which is very similar to what we saw Amorim doing with Sporting. This is Manchester United making progress. So we'll start off with when the opposition are playing with a solo pivot, because this is what we've seen in the last two games, I believe. So two centre-backs splitting slightly wider, full-backs of course out wide, and just one midfielder. In these moments, United have used a man-to-man press. We have seen one of the inside forwards going onto this centre-back, the other inside forward going onto this centre-back, and then Xerxes, the striker, or it could also be Højlund, drops deeper onto the solo pivot. So in this position here, we're man-to-man with the outfielders. Of course, we can't go man-to-man with the goalkeeper because we physically don't have enough players, but in this position here, we are man-to-man, so this is aggressive pressing from Manchester United. Why does this work? How can we do this? Because what we've spoken about so much in the past 18 months is United don't have the players to play man-to-man, so why is it suddenly working? Well, because whilst these guys are man-to-man, the next line of players are half man-to-man, but also half aware of the space behind them. So let's say this midfielder drops deeper to try and get on the ball, this guy's going to do the same, and the fullbacks as well. What United are doing is getting this line of four in a lovely in-between position. So they're just here. Now this positioning of Bruno, for example, means that the pass can't go in there, because Bruno Fernandes, by the time the ball actually gets there, Bruno Fernandes has the time to nick in, so they can't play that ball. It's the same with the fullback, for example. They can't play the long clipped pass to the fullback because it takes time for that ball to travel, and in that time, Mazraoui would have squeezed up and won the ball back for United. So the opposition can't actually play out from the back. Therefore, the alternative for the opposition is to go long over the press, to go long into these positions where, to be honest, in recent weeks with injuries, players currently available, United don't have the most physically dominant players in the world, to tell the truth. Someone like Victor Lindelof isn't the best aerial defender, but they're being helped by the fact that, once again, these players in front here are in the half and half position. So because Casemiro, for example, hasn't committed all the way up here early, and Bruno hasn't either, and neither of the wing-backs, United can win the second ball. If these guys commit too early, as the ball comes long, second ball drops, it's actually the opposition that are favourite for this ball. But because these guys hold this in-between position, it means, yes, they're ready to engage high onto the midfield of the opposition, but should the ball go long, they can also help out our centre-backs with the second ball. This is what I'm talking about. Manchester United genuinely pressing pretty well. It's almost hybrid man-to-man pressing. So we can see the front three here. We can see the striker, Xerxes, a little bit deeper than the other two. And what they're trying to do is match the solo pivot, so Xerxes on Thomas Partey, and then the two inside forwards are on the two Arsenal centre-backs. Now, if we look at the rest of the players, the two central midfielders here, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, they're certainly not in a deep position. They're not defending cautiously in a passive manner, but they're also not super high. They're not touch tight with Odegaard and Calafiori in the midfield on this moment. Again, they're in an in-between position where they can offer you a little bit of both. By the way, Sorry if you can hear the dog barking in the background. He does that sometimes. Anyway, we've also got something similar with our wing backs. We've got Dallo at the bottom there. Again, in a high starting position, but not so high that he is literally all the way on Timber. But if the pass went to Timber, Dallo would be able to get there. Do you see what I'm saying? He's ready to press, but he's not fully pressing. Which means that, in this moment, Arsenal basically realise they don't have a pass. United are too aggressive. Arsenal can't find the short pass, so they have to go long. And Manchester United win the first contact, and because we have these players not committing too high, but on the second ball, Manchester United are able to get the ball and actually settle it down. We've seen this a few times. Again, in the Arsenal game here, you can see the United front three. Højlund, this time the shape's slightly different because Garnacho is curved in from the right to apply pressure. But again, you can see the idea. You can see the two central midfielders. High, but not man-to-man. They're in a hybrid position. They're ready to go. And also, as we can see here, the wing-backs as well. High starting positions, but not so high that they're literally touch-tight to the fullbacks. That's the important thing here. They're high, but not too high. It's really good positioning from United, and this is what I'm talking about here. Casemiro, keeping an eye on an Arsenal midfielder without having to be touch-tight to him, without literally being touch-tight. So as the ball goes to the other side of the pitch, Casemiro goes, okay, I'm in a half-and-half position, so now is the time to drop a little bit deeper to protect my back four. However, when Arsenal then cycle the ball backwards again and come to this side of the pitch, Casemiro is still close enough that he can engage with the press, and Mazraoui can engage with the press as well. And eventually, United win the ball here and get into this position. And like I said earlier, this is something that we saw for Sporting. Sporting here in the white shirts. We've got Victor Gyökeres in the middle there, playing as the striker, dropping on to the opposition's solo pivot, and the two inside forwards ready to press the centre-backs. A little bit like that. We can also see behind them the wing-backs. Am I blocking this? I hope not. The wing-backs in high starting positions, ready to press the opposition full-backs, but not too high that they can't help out at the back. And of course, also the midfielder here in an in-between position, ready to squeeze high, also ready to cover his defence. Eventually, the opposition are forced to play the ball long. And again, it's about that first contact. Can you win the possession in these moments here? And also, can these in-between players help you on the second ball? It's good pressing from Manchester United, and it's something we saw at Sporting. So that is, of course, all positive stuff for United. That is United pressing well against a solo pivot, which you don't always face in the Premier League. What about when you face a double pivot, a team with an extra midfielder? How do you cope with that? Well, you change your tactical shape, and again, United have been doing this. So we can see now the opposition are in more of a 4-2-3-1 shape. So rather than one central midfielder, they've got two. That means one striker alone, dropping in, isn't going to be enough because he can't actually cover both players. So how do Manchester United adapt? Well, we start in a 3-4-3 shape, but we change to more of a 4-4-2. So someone like Lenny Yoro will shift across this way. Let's shift it this way. And one of the wing-backs is going to come into midfield, whilst the other one drops a little bit deeper. We then see one of the inside forwards dropping a little bit wider, whilst the other one comes into a striker position. So now Manchester United are 4-4-2. Why does this work? Well, because again, the front two are close enough to the centre-backs, but not too close. They can start in this position, so the goalkeeper's got time on the ball, but not really an option, because the second he passes there, you're going to close him down. And of course, we see something similar from the midfielders as well. So the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro can come up, they can squeeze high. We're in a 4-4-2. We are marking the double pivot, and the front two are really helping with this as well. They're blocking the pass in there, but also ready to go after that pass as well. This is why this is sort of hybrid pressing in my eyes. But also, United still have enough players in these deeper positions here that we can go man-to-man if needed. If this player moves further forward, United can pick him up with one of the centre-backs. Now, when this player starts dropping deeper and roaming into midfield, that is when United still have problems, because the centre-backs are a little bit unsure going into those areas. And in terms of certain profiles right now, Eriksen left wing, De Ligt right back, Mazraoui right wing, is not quite right, but the shape is what we're looking at here. And I think in these moments, again, United are pressing reasonably well. We can see Fulham here with the double pivot in the middle of the pitch, and United are essentially a 4-4-2. I think we could all call that 4-4-2, right? I think we can all understand that shape, and we can see United are ready to be man-to-man. We're not fully committed man-to-man at this point, but we're ready to be if we need to be, right? If Fulham play out, we can go after these players. I would just say the issue at the moment is there is still a lack of intensity in the team. For example, Christian Eriksen in this wide position, he's not the most intense player, right? He's not the player who covers the most ground at the highest speed and bites into the tackles with the greatest ferocity. He's not that sort of footballer, and that does cause some problems for the United press. But generally speaking, I would say in these moments, the 4-4-2, again, United are pressing reasonably well. And again, this is something that we saw Sporting doing under Amorims. So What I would say here is United are doing a good job of getting pressure on the ball, but also protecting the back four and helping on these second balls here. This is really important. I think United are improving with their pressing work on the resets. In open play, I said it the other day, I've still got a lot of concerns. A lot of concerns. I think there's big problems in open play. But on resets, Manchester United are pressing well, and I think that's a really good sign, because as I said right at the start of the video, I think resets are an amazing opportunity to learn something about the manager's true intentions. And in these moments, Amorim is being aggressive, he is pushing his players higher. He probably just needs a little bit of help with recruitment in the summer. You know, a centre-back that can defend in the wider channels more regularly, you know, alongside Euro. We need two of them that can do it. And we also need a midfielder that can cover the ground a bit better than Casemiro or Christian Eriksen. But I think if we get those things in place, United could become, actually, a pretty decent pressing side under Ruben Amorim, which is quite exciting. We've seen the signs in recent weeks. Now it's about continuing to work on it for the second half of the season and then improving it with recruitment in the summer. That is what Manchester United need to do. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But apart from that, for today, we're finished. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.